So who thought that car was a good idea? Time and time again we see automakers with far too much money on their hands, and so they make cars they don't really need to make, instead of improving their cars they currently have. So here are 10 cars that nobody asked for. BMW X6. The X6 has often been credited for creating the crossover coupe. Now, it is fine for BMW to make an all new form of car class. The thing is that the idea of an ugly 4-door SUV coupe with little headroom and the posture of a dog taking a is just stupid and a waste of money. And to make matters worse, people fell for this stupid trend. Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet. The modern day SUV is a vehicle that must be rugged, stylish and luxurious. And to be fair, the Nissan Murano was all of those things. But then, they made a convertible, where they just made the boot tiny, gave it a weird look and roof design, and very little rear visibility. And the last nail in the coffin was that they made the car so expensive that nobody bought it. It goes to show that the convertible SUV doesn't work. Oh god damn it! Basically, Land Rover said that an Evoque Convertible was a possibility. No one wanted them to make it, nor did we care. But to get the attention, they did it. Even though most of the car's plus points were still intact, cutting the roof off the car made it look stupid, less practical and expensive. The Evoque Convertible remains a god awful way to spend 50 grand. Dacia Sandero Stepway. When you've had to resort to buying a Dacia, you know that your life hasn't worked out for you the way you planned it. The Sandero is an affordable super mini, which gets the job done. However, for a little more, you can get a Sandero, which looks like a pathetic SUV, which would be even worse if God forbid the owner took it off-roading. Has it got a locking differential? Has it got lifted suspension? Has it got 4-wheel drive? The only real option you have is the much better value Duster or a used car from a better brand. Howdy A3 City Hopper. This car isn't even out yet and I already think it's pointless. The goal of the A3 City Hopper is to bridge the gap between the Q2 and the Q3, which didn't need to be filled in, and it will probably cost a ton of money and be a mediocre car in general. The crossover craze is getting out of hand, and it just has to stop. And it's not like Audi can splash the cash either, after the Dieselgate scandal. BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe and the Audi A5 Sportback. Both of these cars look great, they're stylish, fancy and likeable. However, they're both based on 2-door versions of cars which are based off 4-door versions of cars. It sounds very confusing, but hear me out. We'll use the A4 as an example. The Audi A4 is a 4-door mid-size saloon. The A5 Coupe is a 2-door version of the A4. Meanwhile, the A5 Sportback is a 4-door version of the A5 Coupe. From personal experience, the rear seats in the A5 Sportback are god awful, and they cost almost 8 grand more to buy than an A4. If you ask me, the A5 Sportback is the perfect car for the person who doesn't know what car they want to buy. Chrysler PT Cruiser Convertible. Just look at it. Chevrolet SSR. This was a pickup convertible V8 hot rod, which sounds awesome. It had over 400 brake horsepower from an LS2 V8, a 6-speed manual and a footable metal roof. It was a great throwback, fun to drive, and a good conversation starter, as no one knows what they are, or what they do, or what they're for. Sadly, there just wasn't a market for it. Nobody wanted the SSR, which is a pity, as this was a good car which was sadly overlooked. People just bought Corvettes, Camaros or proper pickup trucks instead. BMW 6 Series GT. The BMW 6 Series was great, but then this weird GT thing came along and ruined everything. It's ugly, expensive, forgettable and irrelevant. It's supposed to rival the Mercedes CLS and Audi A7, while bridging the gap between the 5 Series Touring and the 5 Series Saloon. The 6 Series is unneeded, as picking between a 5 Series Touring or a Saloon is not rocket science. and the recent 8 Series Coupe and Grand Coupe will do just fine, competing against the A7, CLS and any other competitor. And finally, we have the Aston Martin Cygnet. Aston never wanted to make this car. They had to make it because of new EU emission regulations forcing them to. So instead of making a clean Super Mini from scratch, they took the Toyota IQ, which was basically a hot point with wheels, put some Aston Martin logos on it, and priced it at twice as much as the regular IQ. It was weird looking, ugly, pointless, and I'm pretty sure very few if anyone bought it. If you ask me, the car was a heap of shit.